Captain Jake Morrison sat in the dark control room. The screens around him showed nothing but empty space and distant stars. He had been watching for alien signals for 3 years now. Most people thought his job was boring. Jake thought it was. The most important job on Earth, not the coffee in his cup, had gone cold hours ago. He rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the clock. It was 3 in the morning. The night shift was always quiet. Too quiet. Then the computer made a sound he had never heard before. A soft beep that made his heart race. Jake sat up straight and looked at the main screen. There were numbers scrolling down faster than he could read them. This was not normal space noise. This was a message. Jake pressed the red button that connected him to his boss. Admiral Robert Hayes answered on the first ring. "Sir, we have something," Jake said. His voice was shaking a little. "What kind of something?" Hayes asked. "The kind that changes everything." 20 minutes later, Hayes was in the control room with 6 other people. Dr. Lisa Grant was there too. She was the smartest person Jake knew about what was inside planets. They all watched as the computer translated the alien message. The message was simple. Too simple. It said that Earth had something the aliens needed. Something in the planet's core that could give them power for thousands of years. The aliens called themselves the Vex-High Collective. They said they had been looking for this kind of power source for a very long time. "What do they mean by power source?" Hayes asked. Dr. Grant looked at her tablet. Her face was pale. "They mean the quantum-stable elements in Earth's core. I've been studying them for years. They're incredibly rare." "And dangerous?" Jake asked. "Very dangerous. If someone tried to take them out, it would destroy our planet's magnetic field. Without that field, we would all die. The planet would become a dead rock floating in space." The room went quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. The aliens were not asking for permission. They were telling Earth what they planned to do. Lieutenant Commander Amy Foster was sitting at another computer. She looked up with worry in her eyes. "There's more. I'm picking up other signals. Lots of them." The main screen changed. It showed a map of space around Earth. Red dots appeared at the edge of the solar system. 1 red dot, then 5, then 20. Then too many to count. "How many ships?" Hayes asked. "At least 200, Amy said. "Maybe more. They're just sitting there, waiting." Jake felt his stomach drop. 200 alien ships. All of them wanting to tear apart his planet for fuel. Dr. Grant was typing fast on her tablet. "I'm reading their previous operations. They've done this before. 17 times. They find planet with the right elements, take what they need, and leave." "What happens to the people on those planets?" Hayes asked. "There are no people left. The planets are dead." Hayes walked to the window. He could see Earth below them. The space station was orbiting over the Pacific Ocean. The blue and white planet looked so peaceful. It was hard to believe that hundreds of alien ships wanted to destroy it. "Sir," Amy said, "I'm getting another message." This message was different. It was longer and more detailed. The aliens were being polite, but their meaning was clear. They would arrive in 72 hours. They expected all humans to leave the planet. They would provide transport to other worlds. Once Earth was empty, they would begin taking what they needed. "They think we'll just leave," Jake said. "They think we'll abandon our home." "They don't understand humans," Hayes said. "They don't understand that this is not just where we live. This is who we are." Dr. Grant looked up from her tablet. "The energy they want is deep in Earth's core. It would take them months to get it all. But once they start, the damage begins immediately. The magnetic field would start breaking down in weeks." "What about the animals, the plants, everything alive on Earth?" Amy asked. "All gone. The radiation from space would kill everything. The oceans would boil away. Earth would become like Mars, but worse. Hayes pressed a button on his desk. It connected him to President William Carter. "Mr. President, we have a situation." While Hayes talked to the president, Jake looked at the alien ships on the screen. They were bigger than anything humans had ever built. Their technology was probably thousands of years ahead of Earth's. Any normal military would look at those ships and surrender immediately. But humans were not normal. Jake had studied Earth's history. Every time someone had tried to take human land, humans had fought back. Sometimes they won, sometimes they lost. But they always fought. Amy was reading more alien messages. They're talking about Earth like it's already theirs. They're planning where to put their mining equipment. They're discussing how to dispose of Earth's atmosphere. "They're making a mistake," Jake said. "What mistake?" Dr. Grant asked. "They think Earth is just a resource. They don't understand that it's our home, and humans will do anything to protect their home." Hayes finished his call with the president. He looked at everyone in the room. "The president is calling an emergency meeting. Every world leader, every military commander. We have 72 hours to figure out how to stop this." "Can we fight them?" Amy asked. "Their ships are more advanced than ours," Hayes said. "But they made one big mistake. They told us they were coming, and they don't understand what kind of planet they're trying to take." Jake looked at Earth again. It was beautiful and dangerous. Humans had spent thousands of years learning to survive on this deadly world. They had survived ice ages, volcanoes, earthquakes, and wars. They had turned a hostile planet into their fortress. "They want our Deathworld," Jake said. "They have no idea what they're asking for." The alien ships continued to wait at the edge of the solar system. They thought the hard part was over. They thought the humans would simply leave. They were about to learn that humans had spent their entire existence fighting for survival on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. And they were not about to stop now. General Marcus Stone stood in the underground bunker that most people did not know existed. The room was 50 feet below the Colorado mountains. Maps covered every wall. Computers hummed quietly in the corners. This was where humanity's real defense plans were kept. President William Carter sat at the head of a long table. Around him were the leaders of every major country on Earth. They had all flown here in secret. The world above had no idea that the most important meeting in human history was happening below their feet. "How long have you known this day would come?" Carter asked Stone. 50 years, Stone replied. "Ever since we first looked at the stars and wondered if we were alone. We decided that if we were not alone, we needed to be ready." Stone pressed a button on the wall. The lights dimmed and a hologram appeared above the table. It showed Earth, but not the Earth that people knew. This Earth was covered in hidden weapons, secret bases, and underground networks. "We called it Project Ironwall," Stone said. "Every major country contributed. We built defenses that we hoped we would never need to use." Engineer Sophie Wright stepped forward. She was young, maybe 30 years old, but she had been working on these weapons since she was in college. "The quantum disruptors are our first line of defense. We placed them all around the planet, deep in the crust." "What do they do?" asked the Prime Minister of Britain. "They create electromagnetic pulses," Sophie explained. "Big ones. Any ship that tries to drill into Earth's core will be hit with more electricity than a lightning storm. Their computers will fry. Their engines will stop working." "Will it work?" Carter asked. "We don't know," Sophie said honestly. "We've never tested it on alien ships. But it will definitely ruin their day." Dr. Peter Collins was studying the alien messages on his tablet. He looked up at the room. "I've been analyzing their communications. The HFY are old, very old. They've been around for maybe 1,000,000 years. That sounds bad for us, said the president of Japan. Actually, it might be good, Peter said. They're so old that they've forgotten how to fight. They use their technology for everything. They haven't had a real war in thousands of years. What about us? Asked the Chancellor of Germany. We fight all the time, Peter said with a small smile. We've been fighting each other, our planet, and everything else for our entire existence. We know how to fight when we're desperate. Commander Rachel Torres was looking at the space tracking data. Their ships are impressive, she said, but they're designed for easy flying between stars. Our ships are designed for Earth's environment. What's the difference? Carter asked. Earth is dangerous, Rachel explained. Our magnetic field, our radiation, our gravity, our atmosphere. It's all deadly to most life forms. But we grew up. Here, we know how to use these dangers as weapons. Captain Danny Lee had been quiet during the meeting. He was the one who would have to talk to the aliens. Mr. President, what do you want me to tell them? Carter looked around the table at all the world leaders. They all nodded. Tell them no. Just no? Tell them that Earth is not for sale. Tell them that humans do not abandon their home. Tell them that if they want to fight, they came to the right place. Danny nodded. And if they don't listen? Then we show them why this planet is called a Deathworld. The meeting continued for hours. Each country reported on their hidden defenses. The Americans had orbital weapons platforms disguised as satellites. The Russians had underground missile silos that could hit targets in space. The Chinese had developed new types of explosives that worked in zero gravity. But the most impressive weapons were the ones that every country had built together. The Iron Wall network covered the entire planet. Hidden bases were scattered across every continent. And deep in the ocean, submarine fleets waited with weapons that no alien had ever seen. How many people know about this? Carter asked. About 50,000, Stone replied. All of them military. All of them sworn to secrecy. We've been preparing for this day their entire careers. Sophie brought up another hologram. This one showed Earth's solar system. We've also been preparing the battlefield. We've hidden weapons in the asteroid belt. We've put sensors on every moon. We've turned the entire solar system into a trap. What about the people? Asked the Prime Minister of India. The civilians who don't know what's coming. We tell them the truth, Carter said. We tell them that aliens want to destroy Earth. We tell them that we're going to fight back. And we ask them to help. Dr. Collins looked worried. The aliens have been watching us for weeks. They know about our cities, our armies, our weapons. They think they know everything about us. What don't they know? Stone asked. They don't know that we've been hiding our best weapons for 50 years. They don't know that we've turned our entire planet into a fortress. And they don't know that humans fight hardest when they're defending their home. The meeting was ending. Each leader would return to their country and prepare their people for war. But first, they had one more thing to do. Carter activated a communication system that could reach anywhere on Earth. In a few minutes, he would address the entire world. Every television, every radio, every computer would carry his message. My fellow humans, Carter began. Today, we learned that we are not alone in the universe. Aliens have come to our solar system. They want to take something from our planet that would destroy our world and kill everything on it. The room was silent except for Carter's voice. They think we will simply leave. They think we will abandon Earth and find new homes among the stars. They are wrong. This is our world. This is our home. And we will fight for it. Carter paused and looked at each leader in the room. In 72 hours, they will come. They will find that Earth is not just a planet full of resources. It is a fortress defended by the most dangerous species in the galaxy. It is defended by humans who would rather die than surrender their home. The broadcast ended. Around the world, people were learning that the most important battle in human history was about to begin. Stone looked at the hologram of Earth one more time. All those hidden weapons, all those secret bases, all those plans that had been made in the darkness for 50 years. "Do you think it will be enough?" Sophie asked. "It has to be," Stone replied, "because we're not just fighting for our planet. We're fighting for our right to exist. And humans don't give up that right easily." The alien ships were still waiting at the edge of the solar system. They thought the humans would be easy to defeat. They thought Earth would be easy to conquer. They were about to learn that humans had spent 50 years preparing for this moment. And they were about to discover what happened when you threatened the home of the galaxy's most dangerous species. Countdown had begun. In 72 hours, the aliens would get their answer. And that answer would be delivered in the language that humans spoke best, the language of war. The alien ships moved toward Earth exactly 72 hours after their first message. Captain Danny Lee had sent humanity's response the day before. The aliens had not replied. They simply began moving toward the planet. Commander Helen Price sat in the cockpit of her fighter ship. Around her, 200 other human pilots waited in the darkness of space. They were hiding behind Earth's moon, waiting for the aliens to come closer. "Remember," Helen said into her radio, "we're not trying to win a fair fight. We're trying to survive. Use everything you know about flying in Earth's gravity. Use every dirty trick you've ever learned." The alien ships were massive. The largest one was 10 times bigger than any human ship. It moved slowly toward Earth, followed by dozens of smaller vessels. They looked confident. They looked like they owned the solar system already. "Here they come," said Lieutenant Tony Martinez from his position near the space station. "The big one is heading straight for the planet." Helen watched the aliens approach. Their ships were smooth and beautiful. They moved in perfect formation. Everything about them screamed advanced technology and easy victory. "All pilots, this is Helen. Remember what we learned in training. These ships are designed for deep space travel. They're not designed for combat near a planet. Let's show them the difference." The human ships launched from behind the moon. They were smaller and uglier than the alien vessels. But they were fast, and they could turn quickly. Most importantly, they were flown by humans who had grown up fighting Earth's dangerous environment. The first alien ship Helen attacked was twice the size of her fighter. Its shields were powerful. Its weapons were advanced. But when Helen flew her ship directly through Earth's radiation belt, the alien ship hesitated. Its pilot was not used to flying in dangerous conditions. Helen used that hesitation. She fired everything she had at the alien ship's engines. The alien shields held, but they flickered. The ship's pilot tried to follow Helen, but flew too close to a satellite. The satellite exploded, and the explosion damaged the alien ship's hull. "Their shields are strong," Helen reported, "but they don't handle multiple impacts well. Keep hitting them with everything you have." Major Chris Walker was fighting 3 alien ships at once. He was losing until he flew his ship directly toward Earth's atmosphere. The alien ships followed him, but they were not designed for atmospheric flight. Their engines overheated. Their shields failed. Chris managed to destroy 2 of them before they could retreat. "I found their weakness," Chris reported. "Their ships need constant energy to maintain their systems. If we can damage their power cores, they can't repair them fast enough." Down on Earth, Dr. Nenia Johnson was watching the battle on her screens. The alien drilling ship was approaching the planet's surface. It was heading for the spot where Earth's quantum elements were strongest. "Activate Iron Wall," she said into her microphone dot all around the planet. Hidden devices deep in the crust came to life. They had been waiting for 50 years to be used. Now they released all their stored energy at once. The electromagnetic pulse that erupted from Earth's surface was like nothing ever seen before. It reached into space like a giant hand made of electricity. The alien drilling ship was caught in the middle of it. Every computer on the alien ship stopped working. Every weapon went silent. Every engine shut down. The ship fell toward Earth like a dead rock. Direct hit, Enia reported. The drilling ship is destroyed. But we can only do that a few more times before we run out of power. In space, the battle was getting worse. More alien ships were arriving. They had called for help, and now there were over 300 enemy vessels surrounding Earth. Captain Alex Turner was flying his ship near the largest alien vessel when something unexpected happened. The alien ship's weapons hit one of their own ships by accident. The friendly fire created a hole in the alien ship's hull. "Follow me," Alex said to his squadron. "We're going inside." Alex flew his ship through the hole in the alien ship's hull. His squadron followed him. They landed inside the alien ship and began fighting the crew on foot. The aliens were tall and thin. They moved slowly and carefully. They wore advanced armor and carried energy weapons. But they had never fought humans before. Humans were shorter and heavier. They moved fast and unpredictably. They had been fighting each other for thousands of years. They knew how to fight dirty. The aliens expected a civilized battle with rules. Instead, they got a brawl with creatures who had learned to fight on a Deathworld. Alex's team captured the alien ship's bridge. They found star charts, battle plans, and communication codes. Most importantly, they found out that the aliens had never faced serious resistance before. "They're not warriors," Alex reported. "They're engineers and scientists. They're used to easy victories against primitive species. They don't know how to fight a real enemy." Admiral Kevin Brooks was defending Earth's moon when the aliens made their biggest mistake. They tried to land ground troops on the moon's surface. They thought the low gravity would make it easy to establish a base. They were wrong. Humans had been training on the moon for decades. They knew how to fight in low gravity. They knew how to use the moon's craters and rocks as weapons. The alien soldiers were wearing heavy armor designed for their home planet. On the moon, the armor made them clumsy and slow. The human soldiers were wearing light suits that let them jump and move quickly in the low-gravity dot. The battle for the moon lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the aliens had lost half their ground forces. The humans had captured dozens of alien prisoners and even more alien equipment. "We're learning their technology," Kevin reported, "and we're learning their tactics. They fight like a computer program. They don't adapt when things go wrong." Back in space, Helen was leading her pilots in a new attack. They had learned that the alien ships had weak spots where different sections connected. If you hit those spots hard enough, you could break the ship apart. "Hit the connection points," Helen ordered. "Don't try to destroy the whole ship. Just break it into pieces." The human pilots flew their ships like they were racing cars on a dangerous track. They took risks that no sane pilot would take. They used Earth's gravity, magnetic field, and radiation as weapons. The aliens could not match this kind of flying. Their ships were too big and too slow. Their pilots were too careful and too civilized. By the end of the first day of battle, the aliens had lost 50 ships. The humans had lost 30. But the humans had learned something important. The aliens could be beaten. "They're not gods," Helen said in her report. "They're just another species with good technology. And we're humans. We've been fighting impossible odds our entire existence." The alien commander sent a message to Earth. He said that the humans were fighting bravely, but that resistance was useless. He said that more alien ships were coming. He said that humanity should surrender while they still could. President Carter's response was simple. Come and take it. The first day of the war was over. The aliens had learned that humans were not the easy prey they had expected. The humans had learned that aliens could bleed. Both sides prepared for the battles to come. But now the aliens were not so confident, and the humans were not so afraid. The war for Earth had begun, and humanity was just getting started. Colonel Susan Phillips looked at the captured alien technology spread across the laboratory table. 3 days had passed since the first battle. Human engineers had been working around the clock to understand how the alien ships worked. We can track them now, Susan said to General Stone. The aliens use a quantum signature to communicate with each other. We can follow that signature back to every ship in their fleet. Stone nodded. How many ships are we talking about? Over 400. Now, more arriving every day. Susan pointed to a holographic display showing the solar system. Red dots marked alien ships hiding behind asteroids, moons, and planets. But now we know where they all are. What do you want to do about it? I want to hunt them. Operation Deathstrike began at dawn. Human ships launched from hidden bases all over the solar system. They were no longer waiting for the aliens to attack. They were taking the fight to the enemy. Lieutenant Ryan Baker sat in a room full of computers. He was not a pilot or a soldier. He was a hacker. And he had found a way into the alien communication network. Their entire fleet is connected, Ryan explained to his team. Every ship talks to every other ship. They share information constantly. It makes them efficient. And vulnerable, said his partner, Sergeant Lisa Morgan. Exactly. If we can hack into their network, we can make them see whatever we want them to see. Ryan had been studying the alien computer language for days. It was complex, but it followed logical patterns. More importantly, it was designed by a species that had never had to worry about cyber warfare. They trust their technology completely, Ryan said. They've never had to protect it from hackers. This is going to be fun. The first part of Ryan's plan was simple. He made the alien ships think that human ships were in places they were not. He created false radar signatures that looked like entire human fleets. The aliens responded by sending ships to attack these fake fleets. But when the alien ships arrived, they found nothing but empty space. Meanwhile, real human ships were attacking the aliens from completely different directions. It's working, Ryan reported. Half their fleet is chasing ghosts. The other half doesn't know which way to turn. Captain Maria Santos was commanding the destroyer USS Vengeance in the asteroid belt. This was humanity's first major offensive against an alien mothership. The target was huge, almost the size of a small moon. Remember, Maria said to her crew, we're not trying to destroy it. We're trying to capture it. That ship contains information we need about the rest of their fleet. The asteroid belt was a dangerous place for any ship. Rocks the size of buildings floated through space at incredible speeds. Most pilots avoided the belt completely. But Maria had grown up flying in dangerous places. Use the asteroids as cover, she ordered. Make them come to us. The alien mothership was too big to maneuver quickly between the asteroids. Its weapons were designed for long-range combat in open space. In the crowded asteroid belt, those advantages meant nothing. Maria's ship was smaller and faster. She could fly between asteroids that would crush the alien ship. She could hide behind rocks and attack from unexpected angles. The battle lasted 4 hours. The alien ship's shields held against most of Maria's weapons. But Maria was not trying to break through the shields. She was trying to overload them. Hit the same spot over and over, she ordered. Don't spread out your fire. Concentrate everything on one small area. The alien shields began to flicker. The constant bombardment was using up their energy faster than they could replace it. Finally, a section of the shield collapsed. Boarding teams, go. Maria ordered. Human soldiers in spacesuits flew across the gap between the ships. They cut holes in the alien hull and entered the mothership. What they found inside surprised them. The alien ship was mostly empty. It was designed to be run by computers, not by people. There were only a few dozen aliens on board, and they were all technicians and engineers. They're not a military species, reported Sergeant Dave Collins, who was leading the boarding team. They're explorers and scientists. They've been using their technology to avoid fights, not to win them. The humans captured the alien ship and all its crew. More importantly, they captured the ship's computer, which contained the locations and plans of the entire alien fleet. Dr. Frank Wilson was studying the alien energy weapons at a research base in Nevada. He had been trying to build weapons that could match the alien technology, but after 3 days of study, he had a better idea. We don't need to match their technology, Frank said. We need to use it against them. The aliens used quantum energy for everything. Their weapons, their shields, their engines, all of them depended on the same type of energy that existed in Earth's core. They're basically using the same energy that makes Earth dangerous, Frank explained. But they're trying to control it and make it safe. We don't need to make it safe. We need to make it explode. Frank's team began building weapons that used quantum instability instead of fighting it. When these weapons hit alien ships, they didn't just damage the hull. They caused the aliens' own energy systems to become unstable. It's like hitting them with their own lightning, Frank said. The more advanced their technology, the more damage our weapons do. Major Kelly Adams was coordinating ground-based attacks from a command center in Colorado. The aliens were learning to avoid human ships in space, but they still needed to get close to Earth to harvest its core. Every time they get within range, Kelly explained, we hit them with everything we have. Earth's surface was covered with hidden weapons, missile silos that looked like ordinary buildings, laser cannons disguised as radio towers, railguns hidden in mountains, but the most effective weapons were the ones that used Earth's own environment. The planet's magnetic field could be focused into a beam that scrambled alien electronics. The radiation from Earth's core could be amplified and directed at enemy ships. They think Earth is just a resource, Kelly said. They don't understand that the planet itself is our weapon. The aliens were starting to panic. Their carefully planned invasion was turning into a disaster. They were losing ships faster than they could replace them. Their technology was being used against them. And the humans were getting stronger every day. The alien commander sent a message to the human leaders. He offered to negotiate. He said that perhaps they could share Earth's resources. He said that surely there was a way to avoid more fighting. President Carter's response was broadcast to the entire alien fleet. You came here to steal our world. You came here to kill everything we love. You came here thinking we would be easy prey. You were wrong. This is our home. These are our rules. And the only negotiation we're interested in is the terms of your surrender. The counterattack was working. The aliens were no longer confident. They were no longer sure they could win. And for the first time since the war began, they were afraid. But the humans were not finished. They had learned that the aliens could be beaten. Now they were going to prove that the aliens should never have come to Earth in the first place. The war was far from over, but the balance of power had shifted. The hunters had become the hunted, and humanity was just getting started. The alien fleet gathered at the edge of the solar system for one final attack. 2 weeks had passed since the war began. The aliens had lost hundreds of ships, but they still had enough firepower to destroy Earth's surface. Admiral Patricia Moore stood on the bridge of the command ship, watching the alien formation. The enemy ships were arranged in a perfect battle line. They looked like they were preparing for a formal duel instead of a desperate fight for survival. "They still don't understand," Moore said to her officers. "They think this is about winning and losing. They don't understand that this is about existing or not existing." The alien commander sent one last message to Earth. His words were cold and final. "You have fought bravely, but you cannot win. We will crack your planet's crust and take what we need. Your resistance ends now." Moore smiled. "Send him our reply." The message that went back to the alien fleet was simple. Come and try. But the aliens were not the only ones with a final plan. Deep in the Colorado mountains, Captain John Davis was preparing for the most dangerous mission in human history. John was a former mining engineer who had volunteered for a job that no sane person would take. He was going to fly a ship full of explosives directly into the alien flagship. "The ship is loaded with refined quantum elements from Earth's core," John explained to his crew. "Not enough to power their ships, but more than enough to create a chain reaction when it hits their energy systems." His ship was called the Defiance. It was a converted mining vessel that had been designed to work in the most dangerous parts of Earth's crust. Now it was going to fly into the most dangerous part of space. "Are you sure about this?" asked his co-pilot, Lieutenant Sarah Bell. "I'm not sure about anything," John replied, "but I'm sure that we can't let them win." The alien fleet began moving toward Earth. Their flagship was in the center, surrounded by escort ships. It was the size of a city and armed with weapons that could destroy continents. John's ship launched from a hidden base on the moon. It was small and fast, designed to look like a normal transport vessel. The aliens barely noticed it. "Defiance to command," John reported, beginning final approach. The alien flagship's hangar bay was huge. It was designed to hold dozens of smaller ships. Security was light because the aliens never expected a human ship to get this close to their command. Vessel. John flew his ship directly into the hangar bay. Alarms began ringing throughout the alien ship. Guards rushed toward the landing area, but it was too late. "Tell my family I love them," John said into his radio. Then he pressed the button that would detonate his cargo. The explosion was visible. From Earth, the alien flagship simply vanished in a ball of light. The chain reaction spread to nearby ships, destroying or damaging half the alien fleet. But the aliens were not finished. Their remaining ships continued toward Earth. They were no longer trying to capture the planet intact. They were trying to destroy it. Commander Victoria Lane was waiting for them. She commanded a fleet of human ships that had been hidden throughout the solar system. These were humanity's last reserves, kept secret until this final moment. "This is it," Victoria said to her pilots. "This is where we make our stand. This is where we prove that Earth cannot be conquered." The final battle began in the space between Earth and its moon. Human ships came from every direction. They used tactics that no military academy had ever taught. They fought with a desperation that no alien species had ever seen. The aliens had superior technology, but they were fighting a species that had grown up on a Deathworld. They were fighting humans who would rather die than surrender their home. Dr. Elizabeth Scott was monitoring the battle from her laboratory. She had been studying the alien technology for weeks, and she had made a discovery that would end the war. "I know why they can't harvest Earth's core," she said to President Carter. "It's not just about the technology. It's about biology." She showed him the data on her computer. The quantum elements in Earth's core are surrounded by radiation that's deadly to most life forms. That's why Earth is a death world. But it's also why only species that evolved here can safely handle those elements. Carter understood immediately. The aliens can't take what they need without killing themselves. Exactly. Even if they won the war, they would die from radiation poisoning before they could harvest enough energy to make it worthwhile. This information was immediately broadcast to every human ship in the solar system. The aliens had been fighting for something they could never actually use. They had been destroying worlds for resources that would kill them. The psychological impact was immediate. Human forces fought with renewed energy. They were not just defending their home. They were fighting enemies who had been committing genocide for something they could never actually have. The battle turned in humanity's favor. The aliens, already demoralized by their losses, began to retreat. Their perfect formation broke apart as individual ships fled toward the edge of the solar system. But some aliens refused to run. A group of fanatics decided that if they could not have Earth's energy, they would make sure that no one else could have it either. They aimed their remaining weapons at Earth's surface dock captain. Steve Rogers was flying the last human ship between the aliens and Earth. His ship was damaged and his weapons were almost empty, but he was not going to let the aliens hurt his planet. "This is Rogers to all ships," he said. "They're going for the planet. Stop them at all costs." Rogers flew his damaged ship directly into the path of the alien weapons. His shields were gone, and his hull was cracked, but he managed to block the first volley of enemy fire. The alien weapons hit his ship instead of Earth. Other human pilots followed Rogers' example. They threw their ships between the aliens and their home planet. Some of them died, but they saved Earth from the aliens' final desperate attack. The last alien ships finally retreated. They had lost over half their fleet. Their flagship was destroyed. Their invasion had failed completely. Commander Victoria Lane watched the alien ships disappear into deep space. "Are they gone for good?" she asked. Dr. Scott was monitoring alien communications. "They're broadcasting a warning to the rest of their species. They're telling everyone to stay away from Earth." "What exactly are they saying?" "They're saying that humans are the most dangerous species they've ever encountered. They're saying that Earth is not just a death world because of its environment. It's a death world because of its people. The war was over. Earth was safe. But the victory had come at a high price. Thousands of human soldiers had died. Entire cities had been damaged by falling alien debris. The planet would need years to repair all the damage. But humanity had proven something important. They had shown that Earth was not just another planet that could be conquered and stripped of resources. They had shown that some things were worth fighting for, no matter what the cost. President Carter addressed the world one final time. "We have won more than a war today. We have won the right to exist as a free species. We have shown the galaxy that Earth is our home, and that we will defend it against any threat." Captain Steve Rogers survived the final battle, though his ship was completely destroyed. He was rescued by a search team and brought back to Earth. As he looked down at his planet from the medical ship, he felt something he had never felt before. Pride, not just in himself, but in his entire species. Humans had faced impossible odds and won. They had fought an enemy with superior technology and beaten them through courage, determination, and sheer stubborn refusal to give up. The alien threat was over, but the story was just beginning. Word of humanity's victory spread throughout the galaxy. Other species that had been conquered by the aliens learned that resistance was possible. Some of them began to fight back against their oppressors. Earth became known as more than just a death world. It became known as the world where the galaxy's greatest predators had finally met their match. It became known as the home of the species that had said no to conquest and made it stick. Years later, when human ships began exploring the galaxy, they found that many species already knew about them. They found planets where the story of Earth's defense had become legend. They found civilizations that looked to humanity as an example of how to fight for freedom. HFY never returned to the solar system. Their empire, built on the conquest of defenseless worlds, began to crumble as other species followed humanity's example. Within a generation, the aliens who had once seemed unstoppable were reduced to a small group of refugees looking for a new home. But Earth's victory was not just about defeating aliens. It was about proving that some things in the universe could not be bought, conquered, or stolen. It was about proving that there were still species willing to fight for their homes, their families, and their right to exist. Admiral Moore wrote, in her final report, "They came for our world's power, but they found our power instead. They learned that Earth is not just our home. It is our fortress, our weapon, and our promise to the galaxy. Touch our world and learn why we are called the children of a Deathworld." The war was over. The aliens were gone. And humanity had earned its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as defenders. They had shown that the most dangerous species in the galaxy was not the